call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hey, welcome to the Supernatural Podcast. The Supernatural Hour.
It is a supernatural hour.
It is, it's pretty supernatural. We need to bring on some more podcast personalities, and so we are proud to present, first of all, we have two, and we're super excited for them to be here. So our first new podcast personality is Doc. Doc, would you want to say hello to our faithful following?
Hello, faithful following.
There's like 4 of them, but you know, we still love them.
All 4 of you.
There might be a few more than 4.
So tell us a little bit about you, Doc.
I am actually an emergency physician. Lots of ums. I have been interested in the paranormal for a long time. I'm kind of an open-minded skeptic.
And see, we love the open-minded skeptics.
They're our favorites.
They're our favorites. There's nothing worse than the person that thinks every creak and moan is a demon.
Yeah, I enjoy. I've been on several ghost hunts. I've been on a few residential investigations, and I find them fascinating.
And the people are fascinating too, huh?
The people are always fascinating.
We're all amazing. And then our next one is Chris. Now, Chris is interesting because, well, he is interesting. He's awesome. I've known Chris forever, but we have had to Zoom him in. So I am looking at him on a screen, and this is awesome. I love technology because I am looking at Chris. He's got the headphones on. He's got the microphone, but he's in a different city. But he sounds amazing. So, Chris, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chris. Let's see, what drew me into the paranormal, I've kind of been around it ever since I was a little kid. It's always kind of been drawn to me. So, you know, I've at a young age used to see apparitions. I've seen full body apparitions as a teenager, and I've just done a few I've done witchcraft for quite a while now, about 17 years, and then I've done a few of your residential hunts, and then a few of your special cases.
Yeah, he's one that we will reference to a lot. For example, we had a case, residential, where there was a spirit that was harassing a child. And so I called Chris and said, help, what do I do with this particular one? You know, and there's some other circumstances around it too. And he said, put a potted daisy in the room. And I said, alrighty. And that's one of those little tidbits that, you know how you get a little tidbit of information, it just sticks forever? That's one that stuck forever. Our paranormal bucket list. Lurch, what have you got for us on your paranormal bucket list?
All right. Well, something that I was thinking about lately was, on the History Channel, there's a lot of talk about the Skywalker Ranch. They have a new series about the Skywalker Ranch that a lot of friends have mentioned. They've got a lot of buzz about it. For the longest time, I always thought Skywalker Ranch was in the northwestern part of the state, out like in the desert, out by like Tooele or somewhere out in the West Desert. And I found out recently it's actually in the Uinta Mountains, the Uinta Basin. And when I was a kid, I used to go backpacking with my dad all the time into the Uinta Basin. There's a lake we'd go to, and it would take about 2 days to hike in, 20 miles one way, and we'd spend about 5-6 days there and then camp out. And I remember some really great memories camping and waking up in the middle of the night and seeing just the stars so clearly and everything. But Skywalker Ranch, I think, would be a cool place to go and visit. They've had all kinds of phenomenon, not just with paranormal, with ghosts and spirits, but also with cattle mutilations, chupacabra, I guess you could call it. I don't know if it's aliens. They've had mysterious visitors, stuff like that. I'm fascinated by more than just the paranormal of ghost investigations. When I was a kid, I used to read books about like Sasquatch and UFOs, and I think stuff like that is fascinating to me. Alien abductions, what people experience when they've been abducted by aliens. But I think Skywalker Ranch is kind of like a hot spot for a lot of that activity. As I mentioned, it is in the Uinta Basin. My dad, when he was young, he was probably in his mid-20s. He hiked up there by himself. And usually, this is a trip that we would make as, my two older brothers, myself, my dad, but it was before he got married, and he decided he wanted to go backpacking and go camping, go up to the lake that we always go to. And he got about, halfway up there, and there's a spot where we'd always camp, and he decided that one night when he was by himself to pull his sleeping bag out from underneath the tent and to just sleep underneath the stars. And as he was laying there, about ready to fall asleep, there was a light in the sky, a bright light in the sky, and it was almost like doing a grid pattern sweep where the light would come on and it would light up a certain part of the land and then turn off and then move and then light up another neighboring area of land, turn off and move, and there was no sound. It just kind of did this sweeping grid-like pattern, and to this day he has no idea what it is. But I think with the Skywalker Ranch being in that area, it seems to tie in with that sort of phenomenon. I've never personally seen any UFOs. I would love to.
I saw one once.
And yeah, so a Skywalker Ranch I think would be kind of cool. Check it out. I would love to do an overnight investigation there to just be able to camp out and have several different recorders set up all around the place. Have cameras, hunting cameras I think would be cool, where you could, if there's any kind of movement, it would be able to capture still photographs and have those. I mean, it's hard to get onto the property. That's one thing.
Yeah, I think he will let people on, but I think he vets you out pretty good. You can't just be anybody that goes there.
I'm about to say, you've got the namesake Skinwalker, too.
Exactly.
Got to worry about that
The
as well.
Skinwalker.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We are coming to the end of 2020, and I think that it's pretty fair to say that the entire world is going to take a big, deep sigh of relief. Literally, the entire world. And I think we're all looking forward to 2021 and hoping that it's better. So along those lines, we always want to keep things fresh and keep things new, and so we are going to introduce a couple new segments. We're only going to roll out one today, and it's going to be called the Paranormal Junk Drawer. Everyone's got a junk drawer in their house. As I'm looking around, everyone's nodding their head. Chris, do you have a junk drawer at your house?
I have a what?
A junk drawer.
You're breaking up on that.
Do you have a junk drawer? A drawer with junk?
Yeah, everyone.
As I
If you
say,
don't, you're lying.
no, it's like only one. I think I might have a couple of different junk drawers. So just for fun, when I thought about this name, I thought, I'm going to go down and look in my junk drawer and see what's in there. And so this is a few things that are in my kitchen junk drawer. Obviously, there's pens and pencils, but there's butt cream, which is, like baby diaper rash.
Good junk drawer item.
My youngest child is 9 years old. So, there's butt cream in the junk drawer.
That wasn't awkward at all.
There.
I just like saying butt cream.
Butt cream, right? So
Not to be confused with anal lube.
Oh, maybe.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, this is
Different type of butt cream for diaper rash.
Okay, so
Operation H.
exactly. So I also had an Anne of Green Gables Christmas decoration in the drawer. So, Anne of Green Gables, butt cream, junk drawer. So what does that mean for our segment? Well, that means that you never know what you're going to get on this little segment, but it will be paranormal. So as the new year comes, kind of look for some new segments that are going to pop out. Doc's going to have one. Chris is going to have one. But today in our junk drawer, we're going to talk about a stone because that's what we've been doing. That's what you're used to. We don't want to make too many changes too soon and freak everybody out. So the stone that we're going to do, when I was in Moab, I found one called a Honeycomb Onyx, and it was really pretty. And so I thought, ooh, I'll do that one. I actually took a picture of it. But when you look it up, this is a stone that was found in 1995, and it's only found, that we know of to this point, in the Uinta Basin. So maybe it has something to do with Skinwalker Ranch. They found it there accidentally, actually. So I could not find anything online about it specifically. So we're going to do onyx. As I do this big build-up, but we're going to do onyx. Onyx is actually pretty cool. So it is called the gem of Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of karma. It has a lot to do with karma and, helping deal with and get rid of negative feelings. It's a secretive stone. It can store a lot of old memories. It's the perfect stone to clear away your bad karma and your grief and sorrow. I think most people are fairly familiar with onyx. It is a black stone, and therefore it has a lot of protective energy because there's no light within the stone. It will shield your aura from negative energy. One of the things that I thought was really interesting is in Arabic, the word for onyx also means sadness. And that really describes the energy that onyx can offer you. Not that it gives you sadness, but it absorbs your pain and your sorrow. So usually it's black, but you can also find brown, pink, red, green, colorless, and yellow. Just Google Honeycomb Onyx. It's actually really pretty. Onyx is a really good stone for carving because it's really high on the Mohs scale. It's like a 6.5 on the Mohs scale. And I thought that the word onyx was really interesting. It comes from the Greek word onyx, O-N-U-X, which means claw or fingernail because the veins on the stone look like the colors of a fingernail.
You almost pronounce that like Forrest Gump trying to say onyx. Onyx.
I love you, Jenny.
I like onyx.
Well, it's just hard because there's onyx and onyx.
Onyx. Go ahead, please. Please continue.
I can't because I just snorted like
Come
a
on,
pig.
Forrest.
See, if I didn't have a nickname until now, that would be Forrest. Okay, let's see. It's found in Mexico, the United States, Peru, Madagascar, India, Afghanistan, Brazil, and the good stuff is found in the Uinta Basin with the Skinwalkers. So, okay, here's one for you guys, okay? Some of the medical physical properties of onyx, some people use it to decrease lovemaking desires and get rid of bad habits.
Why would you want that?
See,
It's
I was-
like
Keep that stuff away.
reverse Viagra or
come
something.
on.
It's like, oh no, not in the mood. Get out the onyx. Let's go.
Seriously. Let me just rub the onyx instead. Come on.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. In the Middle East, they actually use onyx as a worry stone. They will rub it on a worry stone. On a physical level, it's believed to increase physical stamina and strengthen the kidneys. It also can strengthen hearts, eyes, and nerves, and it can help with childbirth. Let's see, what else? All right, a couple more things. It can help you move on from feelings of grief, sorrow, or depression. It can give you emotional healing. It can fill you with confidence. It will improve how you relate to people and how you leave your mark on them. It can bring you restful and pure energies. They say the best way to deal with it is to just sit peacefully with it. The best way to clean it is just to put it out in the sunlight. During really busy and crazy days, you can feel warmth from it, so you need to put it next to you. It says it's most practical to wear it as jewelry. And it says it can give you strong support when you're experiencing difficulties in your personal or professional life. So a couple of things that I found very interesting is onyx is a birthstone. And I didn't know. I thought there was just birthstones. There's 12 months, there's 12 stones, mine's a pearl. Sometimes it's this kind of funky purple thing called alexandrite, which I refuse to recognize. But it is the mystical birthstone of December. Did you know that there's mystical birthstones?
I did not know there was mystical birthstones,
We
but
could
I've
do
heard
it
there's
on-
alternate birthstones.
We could do a whole episode on the mystical birthstones.
I think we will. That's going to be a new episode. So it's also Leo's zodiac birthstone. Did anyone know there were zodiac birthstones? I did not either. Did you?
Yes.
No.
You did?
Chris knows.
Chris is like, you guys are
I
all
did,
idiots.
yes.
So again, we can do a whole episode. Briefly, tell us a little bit about zodiac birthstones.
So birthstones for your zodiac. Zodiac is broken down in elements. You got earth, fire, air, and water. I myself am a Taurus. I'm an earth element. So my regular birthstone is a diamond, but my zodiac sign birthstone based off of earth is actually the emerald. And that adds different properties to what it can and cannot do for that person who's born under that sign.
Sweet, we're going to have to do a whole episode on this because this sounds freaking fascinating.
Yeah.
All right. So, last thing is it's associated with the planet Saturn, and it's a popular gift for a married couple's 7th and 10th wedding anniversary. So, if you're coming up on your 7th or your 10th wedding anniversary and stones is your thing, you just hit up that significant other because because this website said so.
I gave Jenny an onyx. She showed me how to dangle.
You make a really good.
And her love interest just plummeted. Boom.
So, Onyx and Legends. Legend says that when the goddess Venus was sleeping, Cupid decided to clip her fingernails, and the nail clippings landed on the ground. And the gods turned the nail clippings to a stone, and they later became known as onyx. So, I don't think that that is creepy at all.
So give your spouse toenail clippings for their 7th or 10th anniversary.
I've got a bunch of those in my bathroom floor.
Exactly. So,
Is
there's
that
our
why
stone of the week.
most marriages end after 7 years?
Well, I have my
It
own
all goes back
bathroom.
to Onyx.
Because they get toenails for their gift.
My wife has
Exactly.
her own bathroom. I have my own bathroom. It's better that way.
You just keep your toenail clippings to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could wrap them up and give them to her for her 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary.
No. Nah.
You'll opt out of that one?
I like to pick them up and use them as toothpicks every once in a while on a pinch.
Ew.
Just kidding.
Alrighty, so coming up on a future episode, sometime next year, we would really like to do another Answer Your Questions episode. We did that a few years back, and I thought it was fascinating, not only to hear your questions, but hear things that I hadn't really thought of before. So if you have questions that you would like answered, and it can be about anything, it can be about paranormal, it can be about stones, it can be about chupacabras, it can be about UFOs, whatever question you have that you would like
Lurch's
us
toenails.
to answer. Exactly. Forrest
Yes.
Gump, Onyx. Let us know. You can go to wisps.org and send us an email through the contact tab, or as we said earlier in the podcast, you can go to apps.wisps.contact@gmail.com, and that's apps with 1P, APS. Residentials. We really haven't had any since we podcasted last. It's gotten a little bit slow, and that's okay. We do have a couple in the works. So when we get those, we will talk about those. And last but not least, don't forget to get your Supernatural Hour swag at tpublic.com. Sometimes I say Teespring. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk anymore. We must be done recording. If I say Teespring, ignore me. I'm an idiot.
Why would you say Teespring instead of T-Public?
I don't know, because it sounds like Teespring.
Pretty close.
Because I'm Forrest Gump.
Whatever.
So it's
Not my Teespring.
T-Public. T-Public.
And you can access that from the Advanced Paranormal merchandise page.
Correct. Which is advancedparanormal.com. Go to merchandise, get cool stuffs.
All right, and with that being said, I also just wanted to quickly mention this is going to be the last recording I do for quite a while, too. I was talking to everyone else before the podcast, and I just have so much on my plate right now. I started a web development boot camp at the beginning of the year that got put on hold with COVID, and it's ramping back up. They're getting ready to start up again. I've been studying a lot of code to prepare for that. I've been playing Mr. Mom at home with taking care of my kids when they get home from school, helping them with their homework. My wife works from home as well, so keeping them out of her hair. And then just personal commissions. I do a lot of artwork as well. I feel like I've got a lot on my plate right now, so I will be in hiatus as well. So don't be sad. I'm like a bad penny. I keep popping up when you least expect me.
We're sad.
So no, don't shed a tear. It's okay. It'll be all right.
We've been in talks, and we might get him to pop in every now and then, though, so do not worry.
But with that, I'm out. Yo. Anyone else? Just, guys, I'm like, okay.
Drop the mic, man. Drop the mic.
Mic drop. So, I joked earlier that we have 4 listeners, and we have more than that. So if you listen to our podcast, we really appreciate you. We have quite a few, and you guys are awesome. So one of those listeners is Granger Blackett, and I just want to give a shout out to him. He lives actually fairly close, and his sister is my walking partner. And we got talking about it one day, and I asked her, I said, did you know that I was on this podcast before you started listening? And she said, no, it took me a little bit to kind of put it together, but I guess he mentioned to her one day about this podcast, and she's like, hey, I know that lady. She's in my neighborhood. So I said, hey, we'll give you a shout out. I didn't ask if she wanted a shout out, but I'll at least say a little shout out to Brooke. Yay, Brooke. So those are 2 of our listeners. So thank you for listening. We appreciate it. If anybody would like a shout out, we will do that. Let us know with your questions.
send an email to apps.wisp.contact@gmail.com.
With that, I think we'll call it an episode. Alrighty.
Thanks, Chris.
Peace out.
Yeah, no worries. This was fun. Let's do it. I'm excited.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright by Advanced Paranormal Services.